Hey, we are beginning to land the plane this week on what it looks like to be a biblical, real, godly woman. I've enjoyed researching some of the rites of passages that young ladies go through around the world as they prepare for womanhood in their culture. And as I share them, I would just say, ladies, be really thankful that you are not in these, like the ladies in Indonesia that we talked about yesterday that get all of their teeth filed into fangs in order to look pretty before marriage. Today, I wanted to share one with you. This is the Bahra ceremony in Nepal. This is in the Newar community of Nepal. Young girls undergoing this ceremony. It's a rite of passage marking their transition into womanhood, typically conducted between the ages of 5 and 13. So that's really interesting as well. This is quite young to go through a ceremony marking yourself for womanhood. The ceremony involves a girl entering a period of seclusion for 12 days. During this time, she's kept in a dimly lit room away from sunlight and male contact. Elderly women of the community impart their knowledge about womanhood and its challenges to the young participant. The ritual culminates, I hate that word, culminates on the 12th day with a celebration where the girl, dressed in traditional attire, is formally welcomed back into society. So I have to say, this one feels a bit more sweet. It feels like really valuable that you would have the ladies of the community sit around and tell you their experiences of the blessings and challenges of womanhood. At the same time, I'm thinking of most 5 to 13-year-old girls that I know, and there's a ton of cartoons and baby dolls and stuff like that going on, at least through most of that time. And so imagining them being isolated for 12 days and having all of the older ladies in their life tell them what it's going to be like to be a wife, what are the expectations, probably would be horrifying to most girls that I know. So again, even though it's kind of beautiful that they get to share the cultural stuff, you're probably happy that you don't have to go through it. But we do want to know, ladies, what it takes to be a godly woman. What does it look like? How do you know what to pursue? How do you know that you have what it takes? So we've been walking through an acronym that we created in our student ministry to help girls out. Guys, this is super important for you to know and recognize, because you don't want to be chasing after young ladies just because they're wearing the tightest clothes or showing the most skin or smell the best. Those things are all very temporary, even smell, very temporary. So a real woman that we've been talking about this week, a real woman rejects worldly identity. A real woman expects God's greater reward. A real woman acts with strength and wisdom. I'm sorry, I forgot it for a second. A real woman acts with strength and wisdom. And then ultimately, a real woman loves others boldly. A real woman loves others boldly. There's a braveness and a courage to the way that they love. Now, I feel like this is important to talk about because I feel like most females tend to be more on the nurturing side than most males that I have, or most males that I know. And I have seen many females latch on to guys as like a project, like, you know, how many movies are made like good girl meets bad guy and she can rescue him and save him out of it. So I think there's a temptation part of the nurturing that God has made in women that will tend to help them gravitate towards situations where they do love, but maybe they don't love with the truth and the boundaries that are needed to really help the situation. John 15:12 says, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, than someone lays down his life for his friends." One of the ways that Jesus loved people was he loved with truth and love. So he spoke truth into their lives and he demonstrated his love. So love without truth is often no boundaries and people go out of control. Truth without love can just feel cruel and unkind. So we don't want to see either of those. Philippians 2:3-4 says, "Do nothing from selfishness or ambition. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but with humility of mind, let each of you regard others as more important than yourself. Do not look out only for your own personal interests, but for the interest of others." So what does it look like to love somebody boldly? Well, We need God's definition of love, not the world's definition of love. The world's definition of love is often about feelings and often about what you do for me. But God's definition of love, I think the simplest way to say it is, I am out for your best. That's what agape love truly is. I am out for your best, even at cost for myself. If we want to describe the character of it, love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It's not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices in truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. And ladies, if we are going to boldly love, we meaning you, but men need to boldly love as well, you're going to need to be secure in who you are. You're not going to be able to have your validation and your feelings wrapped up in the approval of the other person. You're going to need to have standards and boundaries. You're going to need to cut off gossip when others try to tear people down and they're not around. And you're going to want to avoid false flattery as well. It's very good and important to encourage people and lift other people up. It is wrong and manipulative to flatter people for things that are not true. And we are in a world that does that to people's faces, and then behind their backs, they're torn down. And so if we can instead encourage a culture of godly women who you see the broken things in this world, and you want to use the resources and gifts and talents and strength that God has given you to address those broken things, but you want to do it in truth and in love, I think that's the ideal that we go for. So I would encourage you ladies, ask the Lord, God, give me your eyes to see the broken things that are around me, and give me your wisdom to know which ones can I step in and be a part of God's solution. And God, also give me the wisdom to know which ones I need to stay away from because it's not my place. A real woman rejects worldly identity, expects God's greater reward, acts with strength and wisdom, and loves others boldly. Girls, go out there, love boldly, love in the Lord, do it with truth, and let's see how God rewards you.